مرحبا وأهلا وسهلا فيكم. I hope you're well and having a wonderful day. Welcome to another tutorial learning Levantine Arabic with me. In today's tutorial, you'll be learning how to conjugate the verb to say in the present tense with the preposition el, which is shortened from ila or li, depending which one you could go for. Before we start, I'd like to highlight that the verb al, which you could pronounce either the letter qaf as in the glottal stop, so you could say al, al, or qal, qal. What is the unique thing about this verb? Well, this verb is a hollow verb, meaning the alif gets replaced with a waw or an oo sound in the present tense. The reason being is this verb, the alif or the r, it is an oo or a waw in the root. That's why when we conjugate in the present tense, then the letter in the root comes back again to show in our conjugation when we conjugate the present tense. Conjugating this verb alone, it has a number of difficulties. The first one is being an irregular verb. The second thing is the pronunciation of the letter qaf, because most of the time people tend to replace it as the glottal stop. The glottal stop, in shorter terms, it is the first sound when you say as in apple. So that's called the glottal stop. In standard Levantine dialect, most people tend to replace the letter qaf with a glottal stop, but not everyone. You could choose to pronounce either way. First, let's remind ourselves how do we conjugate this verb in the present tense. What you see in blue in both the transliteration and the Arabic script, that's called the prefix. That's what you added to the beginning and the end of any verb to form the present tense. Let's give it a read. أنا بقول بقول أنت بتقول أنتي بتقولي نحنا بنقول انتو بتقولوا هو بيقول هي بتقول هن بيقولوا The conjugation for they, sometimes students do forget it. Always remember it, as it is very similar to the conjugation for he third person with an extra of the sound oo, as you see here. So it's pretty much the same, but it's got an oo to the end of it. And the meaning? أنا بقول, I say or I'm saying, because the be prefix present tense, it is the equivalent of two tenses in English. The simple present tense, like I say, and the present continuous, I'm saying. أنا بقول, أنت بتقول, you are saying masculine. أنتي بتقولي, you are saying feminine. نحنا بنقول, we are saying. أنتو بتقولوا, you are saying group of people. هو بيقول, he is saying. هي بتقول, she is saying. هن بيقولوا, they are saying. One more read. أنا بقول, أنت بتقول, أنتي بتقولي, نحنا بنقول, أنتو بتقولوا, هو بيقول, هي بتقول, هن بيقولوا. Great, now let's have a look at the conjugation and what you should know. When we conjugate the verb with the preposition il, like I am telling you or I'm saying to you, you would say أنا بقول إلك. أنا بقول إلك. أنا بقول إلك. أنا بقول إلك. So أنا is I, بقول I say. Il is to or for sometimes, and ak it's the possessive pronoun, and here is an object pronoun because the possessive pronouns and the object pronouns in Arabic are the same. Just depends where they come, then the grammatical situation or the definition changes. So here it's an object pronoun. So I'm telling you, أنا بقول إلك. When people say it fast, they jump over the alif because it's an airy letter. So they would say أنا بقول لك. أنا بقول لك. أنا بقول لك. Again, they jump over the alif to the second L, meaning they join the L from the verb with the L from the preposition. So they would say أنا بقول لك. أنا بقول لك. And it ended up looking like this. أنا بقول لك. أنا بقول لك. أنا بقول لك. Which looks a little bit silly, because in Arabic we do have a grammar. It says if you've got two letters of the same, you write it once and then you write shadda on the top. Shadda always refers that you've got two letters of the same underneath it. So you would read it أنا بقول لك. أنا بقول لك, which means I am telling you or I am saying to you. In this example, we are addressing you, guy, masculine. We are not finished yet. In dialect, always people tend to soften the pronunciation. So instead of the oo, people tend to replace it with a vowel a. People tend to replace the letter wow or oo sound with the sound a, with a short vowel a. So we are ended up saying أنا بقلك, بقلك, بقلك. And this is what happens most of the time. Then students, they get very confused and they don't really pay attention to the sound, or they are unable to spot that actually this is the verb and this is how it ended up changing too, and the pronunciation. And again, this is just merely for you to see the pronunciation, how it's written. So people would say أنا بقلك, أنا بقلك. However, lots of people that say أنا بقولك, أنا بقولك, for example, in Jordan and some parts of Palestine and Lebanon and in Syria, people tend to say it. However, the majority, they tend to replace the vowel u with a short vowel a for elephant, and they would say أنا بقلك, أنا بقلك. Now let's have a look at the conjugation for the verb بقول with a preposition el. Here I have chosen some of the conjugations for you. However, you could easily give it a try and make some of this conjugation, because you could end up making different conjugations. أنا بقول إلك, أنا بقول إلك, you could make it أنا بقول لك. However, in dialect, people tend to soften it, so they say بقلك, 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 I am telling you, or I'm saying to you. Okay, you masculine, telling her أنت بتقول إلها, أنت بتقول إلها, أنت بتقولها, بتقولها. And people tend to soften it, so they say بتقلها, بتقلها. Your masculine are telling her or saying to her بتقلها, بتقلها. With you feminine, telling him بتقولي إله, بتقولي إله. And it ended up becoming بتقولي له, بتقولي له, بتقولي له. And people tend to soften it, so say بتقلي له, بتقلي له, بتقلي له, بتقلي له. You are telling him. Okay, we are telling you feminine. بنقول إلك, we are telling you feminine. بنقول إلك, and it ended up بنقول لك, بنقول لك. However, in dialect, people tend to soften it, so the final version would be بنقلك, بنقلك. We are telling you feminine. بنقلك, بنقلك. Okay, and with you group of people, بتقولوا إلهن, بتقولوا إلهن, and after jumping over the alif, it becomes بتقولوا لهن, بتقولوا لهن, بتقولوا لهن, and it stays the same. بتقولوا لهن. With he third person, بيقول إلنا, he is telling us or he's saying to us, بيقول إلنا, and if you jump over the alif, you would say بيقولنا, بيقولنا. And people tend to soften it and change it a bit further. So they would use بِإِلْنَا. He's telling us or he's saying to us. بِإِلْنَا. 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 With she third person. بتقول إلكن. She is telling you group of people. She's saying to you group of people. بتقول إلكن. And if you soften and if you jump over the alif, it becomes بتقول للكن. بتقول للكن. بتقول للكن. بتقول للكن. And people tend to soften it further and would say بتقلكن. 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 بتقلكن, and it means she's telling you or she's saying to you. Finally, with the subject pronoun they, هن, we say بيقولوا إلك. They are telling you masculine, بيقولوا إلك. And if you jump over the alif to soften it, so you would say بيقولوا لك. بيقولوا لك. بيقولوا لك. And we keep it the same. بيقولوا لك. And this is the conjugation of what you should know or memorize for the conjugation of the verb to say with the preposition ال. So, أنا بقلك. أنت بتقلا. أنتي بتقليله. نحنا بنقلك. أنتو بتقولولهن. هو بيقلنا. هي بتقلكن. هن بيقولولك. بيقولولك. هن بيقولولك. Great. And this is the conjugation I chose for you. However, you could make so many other combinations, and I would definitely recommend that you give it a try. For example, if you say they are telling us, so would say بيقولولنا. They are telling us. So what I would like you is you give it a try and try to make different combinations, like they are saying us, or she's saying to you, or she's saying to them, and so on. So definitely recommend that you give it a try. Now let's have a look at a couple examples. أنا عم قلك, I am telling you, I am saying to you. اليوم عطلة. Today is an off day. Today is a weekend. عطلة. عطلة is a weekend. اليوم عطلة. Today is weekend. وما في دكاكين مفتوحة. وما في, and there are no. ما في. There are no or there is no. ما في. دكاكين shops. مفتوحة open. للساعة to the o'clock. 11 الظهريات the afternoon. I am saying to you that today is an weekend and the shops aren't open until 11 in the afternoon. أنا عم قلك اليوم عطلة وما في دكاكين مفتوحة للساعة 11 الظهريات. الظهريات. Our second example. هي رايحة تقلون. هي رايحة تقلون أي ساعة المسرحية رح تبدأ. هي رايحة تقلون. She's going to tell them. أي ساعة, at what time, المسرحية, the play, the theatre play, رح تبدأ, will start. هي رايحة تقول لهون. هي رايحة تقول لهون. So هي رايحة تقلون. هي رايحة تقلون. أي ساعة, at what time, المسرحية, the play, رح تبدأ, will start. هي قالت لنا وين السيارة. هي قالت لنا وين السيارة. هي قالت لنا, she told us, وين السيارة, where is the car. هن بيقولوا له عن إجازتهم or إجازتهن بالأردن. إجازتهم with an M or إجازتهن with an N for November. Both are the same thing, the same conjugation or the same possessive pronoun for they group of people. And the reason sometimes people tend to replace it, and the reason because pronouncing these two letters are pretty close when you pronounce them with your lips. So إجازتهم or إجازتهن, slightly closer. Obviously the N you pronounce it with tongue to teeth, but the M is lip letter. People tend to switch between either. I wrote them. You could pick either. هن بيقولوا له, they are telling him, عن إجازتهم, about their holiday بالأردن, in Jordan. هن بيقولوا له عن إجازتهم بالأردن. هن بيقولوا له ديري بالك على حالك. هن بيقولوا له هن بيقولوا لا ديري بالك ع حالك. هن بيقولوا لا, they are telling to her, they are saying to her. ديري بالك ع حالك, which means look after yourself. ديري بالك ع حالك, look after yourself. And if you're talking to masculine, say دير بالك ع حالك. I've made a specific tutorial for this phrase, which means look after yourself or pay attention. ديري بالك ع حالك for feminine, and دير بالك ع حالك for a masculine. هي بتقلنا إنه هي بتروح على المستشفى. هي بتقلنا, she is telling us, إنه هي بتروح, that she's going على المستشفى, to the hospital. هي بتقلنا, she's telling us, إنه هي, إنه which means that, هي بتروح, she's going على المستشفى, to the hospital. على, to المستشفى, the hospital. هو بيقلك التاكسي هون. هو بيقلك, he's telling you feminine, التاكسي هون, the taxi is here. هو بيقلك. هو بيقلك التاكسي هون. He's telling you that the taxi is here. أنا عم قول ممكن استعمل سيارتك اليوم. أنا عم قول ممكن استعمل سيارتك اليوم. أنا عم قول, I'm saying, ممكن استعمل, is it possible that I use. ممكن استعمل, can I use. ممكن, is it possible. استعمل, to use. سيارتك, your car. اليوم, today. أنا عم قول ممكن استعمل سيارتك اليوم. نحن بنقله هو بيستعمل التليفون زيادة عن اللزوم. نحن بنقله, we are telling him, we are saying to him. نحن بنقله. نحن بنقله. هو بيستعمل, he's using, التليفون, the phone, زيادة عن اللزوم, more than he should. زيادة عن اللزوم, more than he should, or over the average. زيادة عن اللزوم, and this is a phrase, a very important one, which means more than he should. Great. And with that, I'll end today's session. Thank you all very much for watching. Hopefully, this tutorial helped you how to conjugate the verb to say on the present tense with the preposition el, and how do people in the Middle East would pronounce the verb to say in combination with the preposition el. Until next time, stay safe. Ma salama.